But moving on to our final news, are you a big Marvel or X-Men fan?
I enjoy those movies for sure.
Alright,
They are a lot of fun.
so I'm sure you're aware that much more important than just movies, but Marvel has recently bought Fox, who happens to own the rights to the X-Men movies and everything. But they're not just getting the X-Men rights and everything else, they're getting almost everything that Fox has owned up until this point. Were you aware of this?
Yeah, it's
It was like $52 billion or something like that. $62 billion.
just insane money,
Yes.
isn't it?
More money than I would ever know how to spend.
Yeah, I think it's true for most of us.
Yeah. So what a lot of people, what they're excited for is, for some reason, Fox used to own, or well, I guess they used to own the original distribution rights for the original Star Wars trilogy. So the theatrical run of Star Wars, which Disney now owns Star Wars, but for some reason Fox still owned the original theatrical releases of it.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are happy that there's finally going to be like HD versions or Blu-ray versions of those. A lot of people are excited to see like Wolverine or someone appear in a future Avengers movie. There's also the Fantastic Four that people are excited to see return to Marvel for the movies and stuff. But what are some scenarios that you would like to see with this? Like, for me, it would be like just to see like Spider-Man, Wolverine, some of the X-Men, the Hulk, and all of these characters on the same screen would be enough to make a lot of people in the nerdy world happy.
Yeah.
So like what would it be for you? What from this would you like to see?
Do you know, it's such a fine line with this, because what you don't want to end up... Oh, hey, I have a visitor here. Oh, hello, you. So I think it's kind of a fine line. I would want to see all those characters together, but the danger of putting them all in a movie is that you can kind of end up with it watered down, I think, and you don't get to really explore some of the stories enough to feel involved with some of those characters. So it's a really precarious line, and I feel like they got it wrong. Right in some of the movies with some of those characters, but undoubtedly, they have to become about one or two characters in their journey, and you do lose some of that periphery. Some of those, like even more recent Avengers movies, I think you had sort of Quicksilver and stuff who weren't really there, I felt, for that long to really get into some of those subtleties I would have loved to see in the characters.
Yeah.
So it's so difficult to walk that line, and I just hope they don't cram even more in and then lose some of that perspective and some of that human intrigue. So yeah, I would like to see those characters in. I just don't know how you fully explore it yet without, with them all in a movie, without it being a 9-hour-long movie. But maybe that's the way they have to do it. Go a sort of Lord of the Rings-esque long quest over the period of a series of movies.
Yeah, that's always something that you'd have to worry about, because someone who may be a big fan of, say, Wolverine, for an example, there would be a lot of people excited to see him in an Avengers movie for the first time as a part of their world. But if he's only in the movie for like 5 or 10 minutes, then it's going to leave a lot of people disappointed who are watching specifically because they're a fan of him. Especially
because I think Hugh Jackman has said he doesn't want to do another one, hasn't he?
Well, he mentioned something that I think he said that once before, that it would take something really special to bring him back, which is something... There was another actor who played a role for a long time that said something similar, like it would have to be something special to bring him back. But after he made that statement, he also made the statement that he would love to see Wolverine with Deadpool in a movie.
Yeah, that'd be interesting, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
There's an interesting. I think you get a very interesting dynamic between particularly if Ryan Reynolds.
Did you watch the Deadpool movie?
I thought it was great. I thought it was such a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. That, I mean, if he decided not to do it, if Hugh Jackman decided not to do another Wolverine, and you had somebody else then playing him, you know, in the kind of sense that Spider-Man has gone through these changes, and each person's interpretation is, of course, different. That would be very difficult to fully explore, you know, when you don't have all these movies of background with the same actor.
Yeah. Because then, like, if it is suddenly a new actor, you don't have that connection to where,
Absolutely.
like, he's been playing Wolverine for, like,
20 years now?
Yeah. Like, since whenever the first X-Men movie came out. And then he's had 3 of his own standalone movies, which the last one, Logan, was one of my favorite movies of all time, because
I thought it was great.
You could watch it and not know, well, not necessarily know anything about comic books or superheroes, and it's still a really good movie.
You know, you never want, for me at least, I never want a superhero movie to stop being about the human experience, because if it does, it becomes kind of loses a lot of that appeal.
Yeah.
To what makes the characters relatable. I just
seen your cat jump on your door.
Yeah,
which was tremendous.
He does have some superpowers. As well in that conversation.
Speaking of superheroes. Yeah. All right. So finish up what you were saying. Didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're great. No, I'm glad you pointed it out. He's gone.
Right.
No, it just that very much for me, it has to start with human interest, doesn't it? That's what makes these stories interesting. It's not really interesting. We know that using CG or great props, we can get somebody to punch through a steel plate or whatever. You know, it doesn't matter what your superpower is. What makes it interesting is where those characters are relatable to the audience and relatable to each other. And, you know, I think that was what Logan did so well. The superpowers were kind of secondary to that human experience. And certainly coming from sort of an acting background, a film background, performance background, that to me is where everything should start.
Yeah.
You know, and then we get to enjoy the superpowers as you know, this wonderful example of sort of film that they are. But based on a really relatable story.
The videos on this channel are funded by supporters on Patreon like you. If you're a fan of this channel and would like to join on videos, receive shoutouts, watch videos early, have your questions answered, or have your topic discussed on our podcast, please consider supporting on Patreon for these and many other rewards for just $1. Shoutouts for this video includes Link Use the Triforce, Rusty Caulfield, Lovable Christie, Give Time 15, Shadow to Us, Robbie Morgan, and Lunarium. I want to thank all of you for everything you have done to help support this channel.